Good evening, everyone, and welcome to tonight's Casa Grande City meeting and our study session for Monday, July 8th. So the first and only item on the agenda is presentation on Evergreen Irrigation System by Mr. Hardesty.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. This discussion is just an additional update to, again, discuss the Evergreen Irrigation System. As you know, we've been in front of you several times and in front of the citizens several times with this topic. So we'll provide you information tonight. There's no major changes in the information that I'm going to present. It's more of an update and a good time to answer any final questions you may have. We will have an item on the agenda at next City Council meeting on July 22nd to discuss it further for a voting action item. The history of the Evergreen Irrigation System, I believe, has been fairly well documented. The well itself was built in the 20s, and the city took over ownership in the 40s. The underground system was built in the 60s, the delivery system that delivers it to each home. The well was registered with Arizona Department of Water Resources in 1982. You can see on this slide, we do have a history of the repairs, the major repairs that were done to the pump and the well over the years. The last major repairs were done in 2014. There are several key ordinances, of course, for the Evergreen Irrigation System. The 1986 ordinance talks about assessments are designed to recover large costs to the district, which recur on an unpredictable schedule. These assessments shall be divided equally amongst all users of the service. There was an additional, I don't have a slide of that apparently, there was an additional ordinance that talked about the 2014 repair that was a shared cost to the users at 50% to the city and 50% to the users. And that bill was approximately $52,000, which came to $1,019 per user. The map of the Evergreen District shows the delivery system. There's 63 potential user addresses on the system, currently 14 active users in the district. The current issues are fairly well documented. You know, our gallons per minute are ranging from 100 to 150 gallons per minute depending on the day. Obviously our users continue to shrink over the years. The water table continues to lower. The original well was 500 feet deep, and the current depth of the well is 285 feet deep. In the 2014 repair, the bottom 200 plus feet of the well had collapsed, and so a new casing that was smaller was put within the well in the casing, and so the current depth of the well, the maximum depth is 285 feet, and the water table is 210 at the maximum or lower, as we've documented with Arizona Department of Water Resources. Obviously, the well is nearing the end of its useful life in its current condition. The city does subsidize this program on an annual basis. We've documented, you know, it ranges between $10,000 and $15,000 per year approximately. And we do have a staff member from our Parks Department that does provide service to these customers, turning the water on and off and making the minor repairs and to the whole system. We've talked about a lot of different options over the last few months with the mayor and council and the citizens. We've talked about leaving the system as it is, having the citizens take over the operation of the well and banning the operation, lower the fees. In fact, at a previous city council meeting, we have lowered the fees from $14.50 an hour to the current $7.25 an hour. Obviously, the production of the well has not increased, but we're trying to find ways to operate the system in a fiscally responsible manner. We have talked about drilling a new well, just so that you have the information ahead of you. A company did give us a price estimate. This is not necessarily a quote or a firm estimate, because the specifications of the actual work are not 100% documented until you really get into it. But the estimates range from $338,000 to $535,000 from this Cottonwood Drilling Company. That's for just the drilling of the well. Another more local company in Pinal County has estimated a minimum of $200 per foot to drill a new well. There's additional cost in drilling a well, which would be the motor and pump for the new well. And those costs are around $50,000 or $60,000 depending on the size of the motor and pump that you use. There could be additional costs if you wanted to install new delivery lines. Those would be estimated between $480,000 and $770,000 to put new delivery lines. So as you can see, depending on the size of the system, you'd have a major capital improvement to establish a completely brand new well. Can the well, some of these questions were from previous study sessions. Can the well be drilled on the same site? The current size of our site is fairly tight. So there are questions on whether we can drill a new well on that site. Talking to ADWR, we can get a waiver. There are some questions that remain whether a driller would actually want to drill on that site for the safety of their equipment. There would be several things. If you did drill a well, there's noise impact. Where does the debris go? Where does the equipment go? So that site has some size restrictions that can be overcome, but just something to keep in mind if you're going to look at drilling a new well. The question was asked about the trees and the shrubs in the right-of-way. I think we answered that in our previous studies session. The city does not maintain the trees or shrubs within the right-of-way, and the citizens have been maintaining those over the years. Recent action, of course, City Council approved lowering the fees on May 20th. Staff has cleaned out the delivery lines twice during 2019 with no significant change in the rate of delivery of water to the users. And we do plan to bring a recommendation to the council at the next council meeting. Our staff is going to recommend paying back the users of the system the $1,019 that we charged them in 2014 and continue to operate the system through the end of the current year, or if it fails in the operation of that system at that time. So that will be the staff recommendation that we'll be bringing to the council at the next meeting. And with that, I would take questions.
Mr. Powell.
I went today and looked at a tank that you fill the tank with the well. It can go at night, it can go whatever time. A lot of times you can float it, so it just puts the water back in it. And we did that. We had 22,000 layers, chickens, and what you do with that pressure is you get gravity flow. And that guy had that stuff shooting up this high in his yard from gravity flow, and also he had that whole yard watered in about 30 minutes. And that's a really good way to do it if you're going to, basically you shut off everybody but who's supposed to get it, I assume. And as they say, that gravity flow, it can really get some water down there and get it up, and it's not an overly expensive thing to do. You just need a tank and a float system up there where when it gets lower, it keeps putting the water back in there, and when somebody gets ready, they could get done maybe in an hour, what would usually take 2 or 3 hours to do. I think it's something you ought to look at. Did you go over and look at it, Michael?
Where would the tank be located then?
It's over on the old Thode property, which is at the corner of 10th and Olive. And it's kind of sits back in there. It's really a nice place there. But he took me over today, and it's amazing the way he said, watch this. And as they say, the water's shooting up like this, and the whole lawn was watered. And he said, basically, your biggest thing is just making sure you cut off and the water goes to this one and to that one. And they say, we had 22,000 chickens in 4 houses, and they were watered gravity flow. We had a tank there that had that same setup. That might be something to look at before we vacate trying to do this, because you need to go take a look at it. It's pretty impressive.
I've spoke to that citizen, and that is a residential well that pumps out about 35 gallons a minute.
Yeah.
So he fills his tank with that.
But your tank.
So he has his tank on his property.
He has a tank on his property, and as they say, when he gets ready to irrigate. What's that?
How big is
How
the
big is the
tank?
tank, do you know?
I'd be estimating at 5 or
Probably,
10,000
I don't know for
gallons.
sure, but it's probably 20 feet high or something.
I know what
like
you're
that.
talking
It's a big
about,
tank. And,
It's 6,000 gallon tank.
oh, 6,000 gallon tank, okay.
So he drilled his well in the last 5 years or so on his own property.
Well, he did, but
do
what,
his-
he called me over for when you were talking about it. He said, if you got 20 minutes, come over with me, and we were over there an hour, but it's amazing. And using that tank really gets away from a lot of trying to pump water down with the electric things going. If you have a float, it comes in when it goes down and it fills back up, and all you're doing is opening up gravity flow when you send it down the pipeline. And
So you're not depending on the pump to flow, just like all the old water towers
yeah,
you see
yeah.
all over.
Can I make a comment?
Go ahead, Mary.
Okay, so I'm looking here on the information map on the presentation, and it says there's 63 potential user addresses, 14 active users. I'm going to guess that as time goes on and things change, that those active users are going to continue to decrease. It's just my opinion on that. So if we continue to invest in this, looking at the idea that active users will be decreasing, I'm not sure that's a good investment.
Depends on what the tank costs.
Yeah.
Yeah, Matt.
That's I never thought about that. That's an interesting suggestion to get the pressure going. So, but something to look at. The other thing is, a couple things I have from when we originally bought the pump, and Steve, I know you weren't here at the time, so I'm asking this question. Probably have to be, if I remember, we were not promised, we were expecting it to flow a lot better than what we actually got. Is that correct, Larry?
Mr. Mayor, Councilman Herman, I believe that at that time, the expectation was, and the hope was that we would get up to 300 gallons per minute. Because we were reducing the size of the line, of the casing, and going to a submersible pump, we knew that that particular solution would not generate upward of 300. And I believe that when the system was first put in, it produced somewhere closer to 300 than it does today at 100.
Yeah, that's what. Okay, because that's what I remember, and we were kind of taken aback. And
Matt, the other issue is that the water table is so close to the inlet that when they start sucking
It
the
drains
water,
the water, yeah.
it creates a funnel,
Vortex,
right?
yeah.
And then you get
and that's
air.
what's wearing out the
You
pump.
get air down in the.
And then another question, which I don't know if we can answer, but I've heard since all these agricultural wells, the 20 are being reactivated, I'm guessing that our water table is going to lower. Does anyone know yet? I mean, but it's probably gonna.
Yeah, we have not studied that specific issue. We do know that the water tables have dropped.
That's gonna go down. I mean.
And even during the time that we've went through this particular process, we find that the water tables, and as I said in previous meetings, I'm not an expert in this, but from what the experts are telling us, as our pump draws the water out, the water tables on occasion are dropping below the submersible pump level, which is what's causing the error in the line and ultimately reducing the amount of capacity that our current submersible pump is generating.
Yeah,
It's just not deep enough.
Yeah, it's
That's the
cavitating in there. And the I guess my final question right now is, no matter what, it seems to me another important part of this is the delivery system. And it's been cleaned out twice this year. I've heard a lot of different things on it. How are we looking? I mean, we can shut off, we can put in the best pump in the world, but if the best pump in the world goes through the old delivery system, is that, how's that system working?
Sure, I think the delivery system is something that you constantly, no matter
What pump you have? I mean,
what pump you have or how new your system is, it's something you constantly have to look at.
but right now, how are we-
Currently, though, when you see the flow coming out of the well, and then the length that it has to travel to get to a customer, you lose pressure as it goes. The further away you are, the less, and so even if it's totally clean, what's coming out
You
at
just don't have
the
enough.
customer's end, there's just not enough volume and not enough pressure and not enough water to effectively flood a yard within several hours.
All right, thanks.
Lisa?
Well, and of course, for me, at kind of what Mary brought up here on this screen, having 14 active users, and, that it's concerning. You're making this huge investment for 14 users, and I know over the years when we, determined that we were going to try to repair it, and we thought we were going to get more people on this system, and then, people dropped off, and so, of course, it's just a tough situation here, but I guess my biggest concern is, this is such an important part of our community, this Evergreen district, and it's so pretty, and we've talked about this when people go through, and it's green and the trees, and so I'm just concerned that if we do something and eliminate, get rid of the well, and everyone goes to regular drip systems or whatever else, are we going to be driving on a neighborhood that has all dead trees and dead grass, but then when I look and see, when you drive through there and there's only 14 people, the other homes are still green and their trees are alive. So, my neighborhood, I'm in an older neighborhood, and, Koenig, it's not nearly as old as this, but I have really tall palm trees, and we don't have a, irrigation system or anything in a lot of my neighbors. So my question is, can these trees, live without this? And what are some of the successes with those people, the 49 other people that, are potential users? What are they doing? And are their lawns okay? I mean, are they having successes with whatever they're doing?
Well, being in the neighborhood, and watching the irrigation system running, I've spoken to several citizens throughout that neighborhood. Obviously, they've made decisions for different reasons. Some of them have gone to desert landscaping. Others have kept their yard. But they obviously have to water with a different method than flood irrigation. So they've converted to sprinklers or drip and things like you may be doing in your neighborhood. So it has been done successful, but obviously not every citizen in that neighborhood has taken the same approach, because you have some with desert landscape and some with lush green yards.
Steve, where is the pump on this map?
I have to get myself oriented. The pump is at 8th and Gilbert. So the pump is in the lower left-hand corner.
Oh, is it that yellow dot there? Okay.
Go Yeller. I took a drive to follow up, Lisa, on what you were asking about. And I went down Gilbert and Lindbergh and then Cadota, and I took a count, and desert landscaping, there's 5, 10, 15 homes that have switched to the desert. There's 26 lawns that still have dried up, burned up grass in them that look terrible. There's 20 trees that are dying and then there's 7 that are palm trees, and the question's asked, the city put that there, and I think it's the city's responsibility to do whatever they did in that right of way. They're the ones that put it there, but if somebody wants to, can they cut the palm trees down?
It's not in the right of way,
Not
is
in
it?
the right of way.
What's that?
They're not in the right of way.
Some of them are.
Well, there might be 1 or 2, but the most
No,
of them are.
there's several
most
that
of them
are in
not
the right of way. There's quite a few that are.
I've driven the neighborhood myself.
Yeah, but if you get out and watch the right of way, because there's no sidewalk there, it starts right there at the edge of the lawns where the right of way starts.
Yes,
Mayor, just a comment. I've driven the neighborhood as well, And I've seen the lawns that are dried up and burned and stuff, but that's the homeowner's decision. I don't have flood irrigation, but my grass is green, and that's because I run the sprinkler as much as is necessary to maintain it. I know maintaining the large trees without the flood irrigation is going to be a challenge at best. We have been told, if it's done right, that drip irrigation will satisfy that. I don't know. I mean, I hope that's true, but I don't really know. It's going to be a tough decision no matter what we do, but it does still come back to me, the 14 users. I've had a few conversations with people out in the community, and I don't think there's much support there from the rest of the community about paying for, subsidizing, whatever word you want to use, for an irrigation system for 14 residents. And I'm leaning towards the kind of plan that's floating around out there, refunding the investment that those users have made, hopefully give them a jump start on putting in an appropriate drip system, and letting them decide at that point how much do they want to spend on irrigation, how much do they want to spend on water in order to maintain their property. I think some will do it, some won't. But I don't think we can. I don't think we can please everybody on this decision.
Oh, you can't please everybody.
Mayor McFarland, could I make a comment?
Sure, go ahead, Mary.
Taking a look at this, we do have an ordinance, the 1986 ordinance that says assessments are designed to recover large costs to the district which occur on an irregular or unpredictable schedule. Examples of such costs are repair and replacement of the pump and vehicle used in providing the service. Assessments shall be divided equally among all users of the service. If we make a decision that we're going to go and do something otherwise than reimburse and that, would we not have to change that ordinance because an ordinance is the law of the city?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor McFarland and Councilmember Courtson. We do certainly have to deal with this ordinance, and the last time when we allowed people to, we did the assessment, we came up with the assessment number, and you actually passed an ordinance at that time that gave them the option of opting in or opting out. So because you have this existing ordinance, you will need to adopt by ordinance ultimately what your decision is going to be, and that would be my recommendation. Yeah. And so we'll be looking at an ordinance for council.
The answer is yes, Mary.
Okay, thank you.
Yes,
Anybody else have any questions?
comments.
No question.
No questions, comments.
Go ahead.
What was the yes answer? What was that to?
That we're gonna have to deal with the ordinance.
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely, that's no doubt about that. I looked at, Maricopa's making an effort to beautify their community. And there's pictures in the paper where they've gone through and they've done a lot of remediation and spent a lot of money. And it's getting out where they don't want to look like Casa Grande, because Casa Grande, if you have, dead trees and dead lawns and you lose the ambiance. This was something that a lot of us grew up with, is the Evergreen area, and it wasn't as good as in Cano Park because it didn't have a lake and boats, but it was pretty nice. And when you cut that off and just say, okay, we no more support a neighborhood like that anymore. It doesn't fit in our town. We've outgrown that, and we don't want people to if there's 14 people, then to heck with them. We'll just get them off of there and have done with it. And that's one of the big issues is it's one of these things you may look back in a few years and say, God, what did we do to that area? Because it's just, it's just getting worse and worse and worse right now.
I have to comment though.
I was talking, Mary.
Councilmember Powell.
Mary, I was talking.
Mary,
Mary, I was talking.
Mary, let him finish, and then I'll call on you. Thank you.
We even get to it on the phone, don't we?
Go ahead and finish your comment.
No, I was just saying, I think it sends a message that we have a different idea about how we take care of our town and how it looks than Maricopa and some of the newer communities do, and I think it's a shame.
Go ahead, Mary.
Okay, and I just find this ironic because 2 years ago or so, we had groups of people coming in, not supporting the district, and not wanting to maintain it and keep it as it was. And we were taken to task for that. And now it's changed. Now all of a sudden it's just the grass and that, and it's not the other parts of that community. I just find it extremely ironic that we want to support it now, but 2 years ago we get a room full of people, a person coming up to the podium reminding us we were up for re-election if we wanted to pursue the preservation of the district.
That basically was when the city became like a homeowner, or the historical society became like a homeowner.
That's incorrect, Mr. Powell.
What? That's right, you remember that?
Yeah,
That was the historic district, not
Yeah, the
specifically
historic
the water.
district, yeah.
yeah, that was historic.
It wasn't an HOA.
I disagree with that.
But that, it encompassed the area where all the,
It did.
no,
So,
the city began.
Mary, so noted.
The historical society went like that because they started walking in and telling people, you have to do this, you have to do that. And so that wasn't about just not wanting to have to, if you didn't have any benefit from the historical society, you didn't want to participate.
Any other questions, comments? Mary, anything else?
Yeah, that was it. Thank you.
Okay, then we'll stand adjourned on the study session, and we'll start back up in 2 minutes.
Yeah.
All right, tonight we have 4 Facilities District Board meetings that we're going to conduct. The first one will be the Copper Mountain Ranch Communities Facility District Board, which will now come to order. Let the roll call show that we have, Mary, are you there?
I am.
So Mary's present via phone, and we have one missing member of the board. Do we need to excuse her, or Larry? Okay, would somebody?
Move to excuse.
Second.
Okay, so it's been moved and seconded to excuse Donna McBride from the board meeting tonight. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay?
Aye.
Okay, so please note Donna has been excused from the Copper Mountain Ranch Community Facilities District Board meeting. We have minutes from June 17th. Mr. Powell, would you mind?
I haven't found where Copper Mountain is in my book, but go ahead.
Here,
I'll
it's
vote.
right here. No, I just need somebody to move.
Okay, I move
Approve the minutes.
approval of the minutes as presented.
From June 17th.
Yeah, June 17th.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve the minutes from June 17. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Okay, minutes are approved. New business is a public hearing and consider the adoption of resolution number 85. So, this is a public hearing, so I need to open the floor. Does anybody on the board have any questions?
Mr. Mayor, we do have a budget presentation that would make before opening the presentation, or opening the public hearing if you'd prefer.
Okay, please.
Chairman and members of the board, we do have 2 items on the agenda tonight, if the board will allow me to address those together. The first one is a request for the board to hold a public hearing and consider the adoption of a resolution to approve the fiscal year 20 final budget in the amount of $35,415. This is exactly the same as the tentative budget that you approved on June 17th. The revenues are derived from a property tax. It's a continuation of a 30-cent rate. So there's about $2,500 in revenues, and then the expenditures are really just provisions for capital or operating expenses. And so with that, I'm actually just happy to answer any questions.
So will this cover D1 and D2? Is that what you're,
Yes.
okay, so anybody have any questions on the, we've already looked at this budget last week, or the 17th, so, okay. Seeing none, then, do I need a resolution number?
Open public hearing.
It does say public hearing. All right, I'll open the floor for a public hearing for the Copper Mountain Ranch Community Facilities District. Is there anyone who would like to address the council? Okay, seeing none, then I'll close the floor and call for resolution number.
Resolution number 85, a resolution of the Board of Directors of Copper Mountain Ranch Community Facilities District, Casa Grande, Arizona, adopting the budget for fiscal year 2019-2020.
Chairman McFarland, I move approval of resolution number 85 as presented.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Do we need to do a roll call vote on this?
Yes.
Okay, roll call vote, please, Gloria.
Member Huddleston.
Yes.
Member Fitzgibbons.
Yes.
Member Herman.
Yes.
Member Cortson.
Yes.
Member Powell.
Yes.
Chairman McFarland.
Yes. Okay, then item D2, which you have already covered. Then, is there any discussion on D2? Now, it doesn't appear to be were we,
Resolution.
Resolution.
yeah, but we don't do, it's not a public hearing.
No.
Or we already did the public hearing. You guys are
Resolution.
they're trying to confuse me.
Resolution number
No,
86.
that doesn't take much.
A resolution of the Board of Copper Mountain Ranch Community Facilities District, Casa Grande, Arizona, levying upon the assessed valuation of property within Copper Mountain Ranch Community Facilities District, Casa Grande, subject to taxation, a certain sum upon each $100 of valuation sufficient to raise the amount estimated to be required in the annual budget, less the amount estimated to be received from other sources of revenue, providing funds for various bond redemptions for the purpose of paying interest upon bonded indebtedness, and providing a general fund for general district expenses, all for the fiscal year ending the 30th day of June 2020.
Chairman McFarland, I move for approval of resolution number 86 as presented.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. Gloria, can I get a roll call vote, please?
Member Huddleston.
Yes.
Member Fitzgibbons.
Yes.
Member Herman.
Yes.
Member Cortson.
Yes.
Member Powell.
Yes.
Chairman McFarland.
Yes.
I have one question if I could ask.
Sure,
about the
go ahead.
resolution. Copper Mountain, have we heard anything more about them, or they have any homes built, or is this basically just the property maintenance that they're taking care of right now, probably?
Mr. Mayor, Council Member Powell, the last statement is absolutely right. There are no homes built out there. The district has been formed years ago. We're levying essentially the administration cost to maintain the district at this point. In the budget, we are giving ourselves a little bit of capacity if there was any type of projects that started this year. But as you can see, it's very similar to what we've done the last couple of years.
Thank you.
Thank you, Larry. All right, is there anything else, Larry, any miscellaneous items?
Nothing on this particular CFP, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Seeing none, then I'll adjourn the Copper Mountain Ranch Community Facilities District. Okay. I'll call to order the Mission Royale Community Facilities District Board. Let the roll call show that Mary Cortson is present via phone, and that Donna McBride is not here, but I'll entertain a motion to excuse her.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to excuse Donna from tonight's board meeting. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
Mr. Chairman, the minutes, I move approval on from June 17th, 2019 is presented.
Second?
Okay, been moved and seconded to approve the minutes of the Mission Royale Community Facilities District Board from June 17th. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thanks, Mary. Okay, under new business, we have a public hearing, again, Resolution 61 and Resolution 62. Selena?
Chairman and members of the board, we also have two agenda items for Mission Royale tonight. The first one, staff is requesting that the board hold a public hearing and approve a resolution to adopt the fiscal year 20 final budget in the amount of $5,244,953. This is the same amount that you approved for the tentative budget on June 17th, with no changes. The staff is also requesting that the board consider adopting the property tax levy resolution in the amount of .6740 per $100 of value. The property tax rate is comprised of two components: a 30-cent continuation for general operations, and then a .3740 for debt. As you can see by the budget, there are minor expenses related to bank charges and fees and compliance for debt, plus the principal and interest payments, and then a provision of $5.165 million in case the district would like to pursue a bond and then do some capital improvements. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Is that an increase or in the rate or decrease in the rate?
It's actually an increase.
It
A
is
slight increase.
Slight increase? Okay. Anyone else have any questions for Selena? Okay, seeing none, then I will open the floor for a public hearing on these two resolutions, 61 and 62. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to address the board? Okay, seeing none, then I'll close the floor and call for a resolution number, please.
Resolution number 61, a resolution of the Board of Directors of Mission Royale Community Facilities District, Casa Grande, Arizona, adopting the budget for fiscal year 2019-2020.
Chairman McFarland, I move for adoption of resolution number 61.
Second?
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Gloria, can I get a roll call vote, please?
Member Huddleston.
Yes.
Member Fitzgibbons.
Yes.
Member Herman.
Yes.
Member Cortson.
Yes.
Member Powell.
Yes.
Chairman McFarland.
Yes. All right, can I get a resolution number 62, please?
Resolution number 62, a resolution of the Board of Mission Royale Community Facilities District, Casa Grande, Arizona, levying upon the assessed valuation of property within Mission Royale Community Facilities District, Casa Grande, subject to taxation, a certain sum upon each $100 of valuation sufficient to raise the amount estimated to be required in the annual budget, less the amount estimated to be received from other sources of revenue, providing for various bond redemptions for the purpose of paying interest upon bonded indebtedness, and providing a general fund for general district expenses, all for fiscal year ending the 30th day of June 2020.
Chairman McFarland, I move for the passage of resolution number 62 as presented.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Gloria, can I please get a roll call vote?
Member Huddleston.
Yes.
Member Fitzgibbons.
Yes.
Member Herman.
Yes.
Member Cortson.
Yes.
Member Powell.
Yes.
Chairman McFarland.
Yes. Okay, any miscellaneous business to be considered? All right, well, seeing none, then I'll adjourn the Mission Royale Community Facilities District. And we will call to order the Post Ranch Community Facilities District on this Monday, July 8th. And call to order and note the roll call that Mary Cortson is, Board Member Mary Cortson is present via phone, and Donna McBride is absent, but I will entertain a motion to excuse her.
So moved.
Second?
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to excuse Donna from board meeting. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any opposed?
Mr. Chairman, I move approval of the minutes as presented from the June 17th, or the June 17th meeting.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded to approve the June 17 minutes of the Post Ranch Community Facilities District. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Oh, sorry, Mary, I keep stepping on you. Okay. First item, new business, is D1 and D2. We'll consider both at the same time, resolution number 42 and 43. Selena, take it away.
Thank you. Chairman and members of the board, we again have two items for the agenda. One of them is the request to open a public hearing, plus consider a resolution to adopt the fiscal year 20 final budget. The expenditure budget is the same as it was for the tentative budget passed on June 17th, and includes a provision for $10 million in bonds should the district want to move forward with some improvements. The second piece of it is asking a board to consider a resolution to adopt the continuation of the property tax rate of 30 cents per $100 in value. And there is no secondary property tax rate, as there is no debt on this CFD. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
Okay, anyone have any on the board have questions for Selena? Any questions, Mary?
No.
All right, then this is a public hearing, so I will open the floor to the public. If anyone has any comments that they would like to address the board on Resolution 42 and 43, please step forward. Don't all look so enthusiastic out there. Okay, seeing none, then I'll close the floor
Race to
and
the podium.
call for a resolution number 42, please.
Resolution number 42, a resolution of the Board of Directors of Post Ranch Community Facilities District, Casa Grande, Arizona, adopting the budget for fiscal year 2019-2020.
Chairman McFarland, I move approval of resolution number 42 as presented.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. Gloria, can I get a roll call vote, please?
Member Huddleston.
Yes.
Member Fitzgibbons.
Yes.
Member Herman.
Yes.
Member Cortson.
Yes.
Member Powell.
Yes.
Chairman McFarland.
Yes. All right, can I get a resolution number 43, please?
Resolution number 43, a resolution of the Board of Post Ranch Community Facilities District, Casa Grande, Arizona, levying upon the assessed valuation of property within Post Ranch Community Facilities District, Casa Grande, subject to the taxation a certain sum upon each $100 of valuation sufficient to raise the amount estimated to be required in the annual budget, less the amount estimated to be received from other sources of revenue, providing funds for various bond redemptions for the purpose of paying interest upon bonded indebtedness, and providing a general fund district expenses, all for the fiscal year ending the 30th day of June 2020.
Chairman McFarland, I move for the passage of resolution number 43 as presented.
Second?
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Can I get a roll call vote, please, Gloria?
Member Huddleston.
Yes.
Member Fitzgibbons.
Yes.
Member Herman.
Yes.
Member Cortson.
Yes.
Member Powell.
Yes.
Chairman McFarland.
Yes. Okay, any miscellaneous business to be considered for the Post Ranch Community Facilities District Board? Okay. So if there's nothing there, I don't really need to address it, huh? Is that what you're telling me? All right. Seeing nothing else, then I will adjourn the Post Ranch Community Facilities District Board. And we will convene the Valago Community Facilities District Board. Let the roll call show that Mary Cortson is present via phone and Donna McBride is absent. I'll entertain a motion to excuse her, however.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to excuse Donna McBride from tonight's board meeting. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Mr. Chairman, I move approval of the minutes as presented for Valago.
Second?
All right, it's been moved and seconded to approve the minutes from June 17th for the Valago Community Facilities District. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, minutes are approved. D1 and D2 will consider Resolution 57 and 58. Selena?
Chairman and members of the board, we do have two agenda items. The first, staff is requesting that the board open a public hearing and then also consider the adoption of the fiscal year 20 final budget via resolution. The amount of the budget proposed is $2,241,034. That does include a provision for having a bond sale and then using those monies to do infrastructure improvements. The second item that we have for your consideration is a resolution to adopt the property tax levy for the CFD in the amount of $2.1973. That does include a primary property tax portion of 30 cents per $100 and a secondary piece of 1.8973 for the current general obligation debt. And you can see that the current principal and interest debt payments are also budgeted for the fiscal year 20 budget. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Questions for Selena? Any questions, Mary?
No, thank you.
Okay, seeing none from the board, then I'll open, this is a public hearing, so if the public would like to let us know your thoughts on resolution number 57 or 58, the floor is open. May approach the podium.
Never.
Okay. Seeing none, then I'll close the public hearing, and I'll call for resolution number 57, please.
Resolution number 57, a resolution of the Board of Directors of Valago Community Facilities District, Casa Grande, Arizona, adopting the budget for fiscal year 2019-2020.
Chairman McFarland, I move approval of resolution number 57 is presented.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Gloria, can I please get a roll call vote?
Member Huddleston.
Yes.
Member Fitzgibbons.
Yes.
Member Cortson.
Yes.
Member Herman.
Yes.
Member Powell.
Yes.
Chairman McFarland.
Yes. Okay, item D2, then resolution number 58, please, Gloria.
Resolution number 58, a resolution of the Board of Valago Community Facilities District, Casa Grande, Arizona, levying upon the assessed valuation of property within Valago Community Facilities District, Casa Grande, subject to taxation, a certain sum upon each $100 of valuation sufficient to raise the amount estimated to be required in the annual budget, less the amount estimated to be received from other sources of revenue, providing funds for various bond redemptions for the purpose of paying interest upon bonded indebtedness, and providing a general fund for general district expenses, all for the fiscal year ending the 30th day of June 2020.
Chairman McFarland, I move for approval of resolution number 58 as presented.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Gloria, can I get a roll call vote, please?
Member Huddleston.
Yes.
Member Fitzgibbons.
Yes.
Member Cortson.
Yes.
Member Herman.
Yes.
Member Powell.
Yes.
Chairman McFarland.
Yes. All right, we'll adjourn the Valago Community Facilities District Board and reconvene the City Council meeting in about
That's well managed.
7 minutes.
That's about 10 minutes.